on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
And tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
No, he is a good kid.
Hey, good morning. We're live from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. The only thing I don't see here is Chuck. Chuck Sedella is.
He'll be making his
not
way
here.
in.
I believe he's picking the avocados, which will be used to make the avocado toast.
He's got his own tree in his house, right?
Or he's making the. He could be making the peasant bread. That is possible. That actually, they put the that's toasted peasant bread. They put on the. They put the avocado on, which is very good.
It's one of my favorite breakfast dishes as of late.
Today is Coffee with a Cop, and in our corner studio here at Daylight Donuts is Sheriff Rob Maciol. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful.
And so right off the bat, you want to accomplish what here today?
Well, today is designated by the U.S. Department of Justice as National Coffee with a Cop Day. It was started actually in Hawthorne, California in 2011 by the local police department there. They basically went out to it was actually a local McDonald's, and they invited the community to come in for coffee. And it worked really well to build a positive relationship with the community. No agenda, nothing formal. Just let's hear what's on your mind and see if we can help with any issues that people have. 5 years later, like I said, in 2016, the Department of Justice recognized the success of this and recognized this day as National Coffee with a Cop Day and encouraged law enforcement agencies all across the country. It's actually in 6 different countries today that National Coffee with a Cop events are happening all around the world. So it's kind of cool.
This is the national day, but I know that you have done events kind of sporadically through the year. And you like to try to at least do it more than once a year to get out into the community.
Yeah, actually, minus the COVID period, we've done Coffee with a Cop on a monthly basis. We probably started 6 or 7 years ago. And, again, just moving it because it's a big county. 26 towns, 3 cities, 17 villages.
It is, and a lot of times Utica and Rome get all the action.
They do.
And,
so we try to focus a lot on the rural areas. We hit a lot of the convenience stores, local diners. We've even done farmers co-ops and things of that sort just to get out into the community, have a cup of coffee, and like I said, informal discussions with the police.
Okay, I want your take on a couple of what should I have done? Dun, dun, dun.
Thought you were going to ask me about the debate last night.
I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I will get there. What should I have done? So we had police in our neighborhood over the weekend.
Oh,
not
my
the sheriff's
goodness,
department, but
this
the police.
story.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to hearing sounds underneath and then someone yelling right underneath your window. And you look out, and it turns out it's a naked man, about 23 years old, I would say, I'm guessing. Not that I got a really good look. What is going on? And it had to be tripping of some sort, drugged out, and he looked like a clean-cut kid. But he's going to most likely regret the fact that he's on everyone's Ring camera in our neighborhood, stark naked, at 4:30 in the morning.
You know, when something like that occurs, obviously that's a person who's in distress, like a mental health distress at that moment.
Right. Whether it be drug-induced or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know what you did in that case, but I would hope that law enforcement was called.
So which was more effective, calling New Hartford police or my wife screaming out the window, get off my property?
You could do both simultaneously.
I think that...
that gives them a head start away from the police. Is really what it does.
I heard my wife scream that. I got off the property. She's tough. Second incident, we're at a local convenience store. Van parks as I was walking in, and about 15 people get out of the van. I'm just telling it as it was. I'm not judging by any means. It looked like maybe people who were working at Shabani. These were probably new Americans, or immigrants, legal workers, I assume. I don't know the answer to that. However, they all came into the convenience store at the same time, and I'm watching one of the people, a woman, stuffing things in her pockets,
Helping herself to some Reese's.
Yeah, and she was good. I mean, she didn't seem like she
Not
was
her first time
suspicious.
doing that, I take it.
Correct. So, what should I do?
Report it, absolutely.
And I did.
And as a citizen, obviously, you're not obligated to intervene. If that was an off-duty or on-duty law enforcement member, obviously we have an obligation to intervene.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We would. That's a crime in progress. And again, any off-duty, a police officer would have the authority to intervene and stop that and detain them for the local law enforcement. But you, as a regular citizen, we wouldn't expect you to detain them or intervene. But we would
that
expect.
did cross my mind.
Right, you have an obligation.
Would he be allowed to do that?
Well, he could, but again, you got to be careful because you don't know what you're encountering.
Well, and
you have no idea. And
She
if
looked
you're
tough,
outnumbered,
Bill.
I don't know
She
if
looked
you were
tough.
outnumbered.
Oh, there were 15 of them.
But as a
easily.
citizen, I mean, I say it all the time. You have an obligation to report it. You have to because we can't do this job alone, and we need the community to help us.
And I think the clerk, who was a female, young girl, was the only one working in the store at the time. So I almost regretted because she confronted them, and it turned into a big yelling.
Now that I probably wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
You know, obviously different
I
stores have
called
different
police.
policies.
Yeah.
And most of them today, for various reasons, don't
Let
want
them
their
go.
employees to
Yeah.
engage. But the problem, if you don't report it, then that activity is going to just continue and snowball, and before you know it, I mean, because we've all seen it. Seen these things happening, and then you hear the stories. I don't know if it was you, Andrew, the other day mentioning someone witnessed someone stealing a large item, a television or something.
Yeah, it was a TV right out the door at Walmart.
So where does it stop? And
and in this case, it did get heated because the guy that was with the woman began screaming at me, "Did you tell her that I was stealing?" And I said, "No, I didn't say anything about you. But the woman you're with has a bunch of stuff in her pockets." I mean, I watched her do it. It was, and there's no way the clerk could have seen it. I imagine the cameras, if they have cameras in there, would have picked it up.
No, you don't think she was going to share those Reese's peanut butter cups with
That's
everybody
right.
in that van?
They're
all an accessory.
Had she shared them with me, maybe I would have looked at it differently. Probably
and
not.
again, part of the reason those Reese's peanut butter cups are as expensive as they are
is because people are stealing them.
That's correct.
Yeah, right.
All right, debate last night. The two vice presidential candidates in this big, amazing race we're in the middle of.
It was actually pretty
Civil.
refreshing.
It was.
I was really happy to see two people acting like grown adults.
Talking policy.
Cordial to each other. You saw compassion when either one of them would make a comment or make a statement that maybe was a little bit concerning, or I know that like when the governor mentioned his son had witnessed a shooting. Immediately, the senator, said that our thoughts are with your son. For what I mean. That was kind of neat. I think the governor got off to a slow start in the beginning.
I think the question about his what was the question about?
America or people are forgiving. I mean, if you make a mistake, if you say something that's incorrect, just
say it.
Say it. I mean, we all make mistakes.
Instead,
None of us are
he
perfect.
went
are not with
He went into this long answer.
I don't even know what he said.
I don't even know.
Right.
It was evading the question.
And
though.
at the end of the day, he said, "I misspoke." And I what did he say? I forget what he called himself.
Yeah.
He called himself a knucklehead or something.
Yeah, I'm a knucklehead.
Yeah.
I tend to
talk too much or something.
Much. And, here's how I would have answered that. I got caught up in the moment. I misspoke. And
you move on.
And you move on. But he gave a 3-minute answer that was – so if you were picking – a winner in the debate, that moment would have made me say Vance wins the debate. Otherwise, it was a draw.
And I think it changed a little bit towards the end because some of the answers. And but
he
it is what it is.
he certainly recovered from it, but it was a bad moment.
It was
right there.
And again, I don't think the vice presidential debate in any year is going to change a voter's mind.
Probably
People's
not.
Minds are made up. So.
Probably not. Although I do think this year it might be. More important for those who don't trust Trump, for those who don't trust Kamala Harris. It might be a little more important, but probably not going to change anything.
You know, and both of those gentlemen last night, I think they would look good on a presidential ticket someday.
Well, I don't know about you, but in our viewing situation, somebody said, and I believe it was my wife, these are the two I wish that were the presidential
a lot of
candidates.
people said that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was watching Only Murders in the Building because I know I had an obligation being on this show to probably watch it, but I was just at a point where I couldn't do it, and so
It actually was a refreshing, though, because they talked about policy.
Yeah, it was not a horrible moment. It was not like the presidential debate. Which was a little on the rough side. All right, can we talk about the, I don't know if you saw, but Marianne Buttonshaw is driving down the road with Governor Hochul.
That's
right. They're apparently unlocking the gates and letting all the illegals in. That is... Usually those commercials are reserved for the congressional races or presidential.
Not a local.
That's a dirty spot.
That's a dirty spot, and I think I know the voters of our area are smart enough to see through some of these tactics. And, yeah. It was just kind of comical. I saw that, but it's childish. I mean, again, are these seventh graders running, or are they grown adults? You know, when you see a commercial like that. So, cropping the governor's head and the assemblywoman's head in a car driving down the road. I mean, it was foolish.
Well, if that's spot one coming out of the Esposito campaign, I'm really wondering what spot number 2 is going to be.
Yeah, there will be a lot more of them. To tell you the truth.
And I do understand, but again, normally in a race for the assembly, you don't see it get dirty like that.
Let's look at the fact that we're talking about an assembly district here in Oneida County. The issues raised in that commercial are obviously serious issues on a federal level. But what about the issues we're dealing with right here at home in Oneida County?
Right.
Not once was any of those issues mentioned in that commercial.
Yeah. So I do want to say I recently had a conversation with a local farmer, you being a local farmer, and people were a political conversation broke out, and there were somebody said, so what do you think? What do you think is one of the biggest issues that you face as a farmer? Now, this is a large farmer, so you're dealing with a lot of milking cows. His answer was immigration, and I said, well, here we go, because we see it all on TV, and he said. I hire legal immigrants. I don't know of any illegal immigrants that are here, but without the legal immigrants, we can't operate this farm. And he said these are good people. Their kids are in our schools. They want their kids to do better. They want their kids' lives to be better than their lives. The stuff that you're seeing on TV is unfair and not true. It's certainly not what's going on up here.
And
that was
of farms,
shocking answer.
Yeah.
I did not expect that answer.
You'll hear that same story from a lot of farms in Oneida County.
By the way, a Republican.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I live near some large farms. I deal with farmers on a regular basis. I have a lot of friends and relationships with farmers, and it's the same thing. They would not be able to run their farms without the workforce that comes from the immigrants.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to do it.
And this belief that it's taking away jobs from naturalized Americans or Americans born here, that is also not true. Because without them, they can't fill these jobs.
I mean, I'm a tiny farmer, and I struggle to find help during the summer. You know, and we actually had a group, some folks that assisted us at one time this summer with unloading hay, and we never saw them again.
That's a hard job.
That's all it took was one time. But my point is, these large farms, I mean, they would not be able to operate without their employee base, and their employee base are the legal immigrants
Yep.
that are in this country.
And what he said is you got to fix it. This needs to be fixed, corrected, whatever you have to do. But we need these people here to work. If you think we have this is a big issue, it's even far greater in places like Texas.
Absolutely.
And when you talk to farmers, agriculture in Texas, it's even more so because without these. And the other reason, they say, you can get construction done in the southern states, the border states, it's so much cheaper than it is here. Well, the reason it's cheaper is because they have a migrant workforce,
a very large one,
that they're able to save a ton of money. Not that should be the driving force here. You want everybody to be able to make a living wage, but at the end of the day, they're willing to work for minimum wage or whatever that minimum is, whereas not everybody else.
And the government hasn't made it easier on farmers either, because now they limit the amount of overtime that the migrant workers can work.
Brutal.
Was part of it. Brutal, and a lot of, the seasons are so short, especially in this part of the country, where if you don't work 12 and 16 hours a day, you're not going to get your crop harvested. It's not going to happen.
Here's what he said about that, and he was speaking to a downstate Democratic legislator, and he said, "I'm losing workers because they're going to farms that don't follow the rules, because they know that they can work 16 hours a day."
Correct.
There, and I can't let them do that. And he said, I'm losing them because the just as you said, the growing season is only so long. They're trying to bank as much as they can, and they can't do it with me. They're going to go somewhere else,
and that's
because
what they're
of
doing.
The laws passed.
When their day is done at one location, they're finding work elsewhere, whether it's another farm or doing something for a homeowner, where they could be just spending that straight time on that farm working to help that farmer.
How lazy. Yeah, it's just sadly it's work that we, the average American, doesn't want to do today.
Exactly.
And we could talk about that story on its own, because that's.
And I think you're going to have a visit from a farmer sometime this morning, so
I'm
I'm sure you can bring that topic back up again. So.
All right. I'm sure we can. Okay, we're with Sheriff Rob Maciol, and we're live at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. You want to stop by? You have a question for a cop? This is want a coffee with a cop? This
Absolutely.
Is
Come down and have a cup of coffee with us. We've got members of our office here, along with other agencies that'll be coming in and out through the morning. But we've got members of the Sheriff's Office serving coffee here today, and just looking forward to having some great conversation with a lot of our law enforcement executives from our region here today.
And coming up, we'll speak with New Hartford Police Chief Ron Fontaine coming up in a few minutes. So let me break quickly. We'll come back to Daylight Donuts, where the toast is being toasted and the avocados are ready to go.
And the donuts are being baked.
Is he here yet?
I don't think Chuck's here with them, but I think they do have the avocados. Avocado toast, which they've added to the menu here, which is so good here at Daylight Donuts. The drive-through, in and out, or come on in and say hello. Stefan is meeting and greeting and signing autographs.
Yes,
he was here before we were.
That's
He's
right.
charging more than Pete Rose.
That's amazing. All right, got a break. Hold tight, coming right back. It is 6:38 at WIBX.
You want to recycle, but you're not sure what's recyclable, what goes in your weekly recycling bin, or what goes in the trash. Wheelock Disposal
How are ya?
Service, your recycling
Good to see
experts,
ya.
wants to give you some helpful tips in determining what waste
ya?
goes
Saying
where.
I
You can
had,
recycle lightweight cardboard in your weekly recycling bin. Lightweight cardboard examples are tissue boxes, toilet
had
and
a
paper
couple of your
towel
guys in my
tubes,
house.
cereal, cookie, and pizza boxes. Before recycling, please remove all food. For more information, go to wheelockdisposal.com. Your recycling experts.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Need new tires? Nokian Tires is celebrating 90 years of legendary Hakkapeliitta winter tires with a consumer rebate. Now through October 31st. When you buy 4 select winter, all-season, and all-weather tires, you can save up to $80 by mail on a MasterCard prepaid card. Offer expires October 31st, 2024. Experience the thrill of savings on every mile at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit their stores and meet their team of experts, or schedule your appointment online at tallmanstire.com.
The Stanley Theater proudly presents An Evening with Lone Star.
Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm amazed by you.
Over the course of their 30-plus years together, Lone Star has scored 10 #1 country singles, and now they're bringing their impactful collection of songs to the Stanley Theater. Come see Lone Star performing live at the Stanley Theater in Utica on Saturday, October 5th at 7:30 p.m. For more information and for tickets, visit thestanley.org.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Back here at Daylight Donuts, Sheriff Rob Maciol is in. A lot of police officers and sheriff's deputies.
Don't try nothing here.
No, a lot of law enforcement here right now.
We have some comments early that we should get to.
All right, go ahead.
Well, the first is conservative John in Boonville. Coffee with a cop is only one day a year, as where cop with a coffee is every day of the year. And add a few donuts for good measure. Just kidding. I love the cops, and I thank them every day.
I always kind of thought about that as being, why do police officers like coffee? Well, it's really pretty simple, right,
Long
Chief?
shifts, driving, having to have
long
energy.
shifts. You're early in the morning. You're gonna use turn that if you could turn that mic right to you. Not a lot of options at
that time.
That time of the morning. Yeah,
and then
a little
we
caffeine
got
boost.
that's right. You need it.
Matt and Holland Patton. Hey, fellas, Santa's coming to our farm November 30th. Everything is free for the kids. Maybe you could see if the good sheriff would like to bring up a car or something. We are looking for sponsors. Nothing big, just something free for the kids. And Lance and Lee. Sorry, I got up late again today. This is a message actually from last night or yesterday, which is appropriate still.
Okay.
Got up late today. I was on the neighborhood watch midnight shift in Bill's neighborhood looking for the streaker.
I was just talking with the chief about that. As a police officer, you guys see everything.
Yes. And Bill's neighborhood over the weekend was no exception, right?
Was
Bill?
no exception. That's exactly right. We were, and I had said I do think that more so than the police. I heard a siren go off. I also heard my wife scream out the window. If I'm
what
that
was
kid,
louder, the siren or Allie?
If I'm the kid, I'm more nervous about the woman screaming from the window. So, here's something that is worth talking about. Andrew, can you twist that a little bit just so it's pointing right at him? So without hitting him.
Thank you.
I don't think people realize that New Hartford is. I think next to Utica might be the busiest police force in the area.
Yes, definitely one of the busiest in the area. Certainly, Utica would be the busiest.
Yeah. Somehow I out of nowhere lost your microphone. Give him that mic. Just pull it right out and let him have it. That's very odd. Yep, just talking to that one.
Yeah, certainly one of the busiest in the area. Utica obviously would be the busiest, the city. There's a lot of reasons for that. There's the growth. People seem to have moved here. Or the residential growth, commercial growth, and the changes in the landscape of law enforcement. Not all the best changes, legislative wise. Which has made it more difficult for everyone.
Yeah.
Simple arrest 20 years ago didn't take nearly as long as it does now.
Yeah.
The process from start to finish. There's just more requirements.
Or even you deal probably with a lot more than most when it comes to you get a shoplifter. What do you do with this? You arrest them. They're out and they're back the next day doing the same thing.
And most times they're out with an appearance ticket.
Yeah.
And there's the recidivism. And again, each one of those arrests take more time.
Yeah.
And that pulls that officer away from other responsibilities, other neighborhood responsibilities. We got to keep a close eye in the neighborhood, like yours, Bill.
Yeah, that's right.
Had a little trouble over the weekend.
You never know what can happen. How about the? Have you seen? It seems like Sangertown doesn't have. It doesn't have the traffic that it used to have, but New Hartford still does. So you still have the Orchard and those other places that are still very busy.
There's certainly some transition going on there at Sangertown of that property. But other businesses have come in the area and kind of filled in the gap. We still have a presence at the Sangertown Mall, and we as law enforcement, as local law enforcement, see some differences now. We have a different occasional instance there of criminal activity at the mall. Maybe less shoplifter, more disorderliness. So we've had to adapt. We work very closely with Pyramid. They're a great local partner. Their security force there. We've had to change the way we deploy in certain circumstances to address some of the new issues. But
I was driving through the Sangertown parking lot and I saw 3 kids running, and they're running into that marsh there over by on the Target side. And then I saw 2 security guards running after them into the. Something was going on.
The mall recently had to adopt some new policies where they don't allow anyone under 18 in if they're not supervised by a parent or guardian.
Okay.
And that's helped significantly reduce some of the disorderly issues that have been happening. Disorderly conduct. Minor level offenses that just have an impact on the people that do choose to go there to for a business purpose or a retail purpose, so that's helped, and you see that in other malls. Syracuse, Destiny, done some of the same things, and they've had more serious issues there. So
some really
locally we're trying to stay ahead of it.
In that area over on so that would be Commercial Drive. Over near the what's the name of that plaza? It's not the Orchard. It's where Best Buy is, Consumer Square. Over there, so if you're getting off the highway or you're coming down or that intersection.
It's a little backed up there.
And you're about to get back into holiday season shopping again. The light, people try to skid through that, go through that light.
It's a challenging spot to say the for sure.
Yeah.
The best advice I could give is if everyone just gave the other motorists a little bit of little room and a little patience. I know it's not necessarily ideal, and I see the backups that happen there. But
the other thing is, I would suggest probably just don't rely on the light. You might want to look before you go.
Right. Common sense.
Yeah, because there are cars whipping through there. So
you do have to look.
Any other the move up to the Orchard seems to be a good move for the town.
Absolutely,
and police.
The town board and town councilmen, town supervisors. They going back years felt it was going to be worthwhile. It certainly is from a law enforcement perspective. I don't know how we would operate today if we were at the old facility
in Washington Mills.
It allowed us room to grow, to adapt to the new challenges that face law enforcement. And I won't get into too much of the dollars and cents on it because that's a little bit outside of what I see day to day as far as the building goes. But I can tell you what I've heard from the town is that it's. I don't believe we'd be able to ever afford it if we tried to do it now.
Right.
It just was the right time.
Yep.
Going back those years, and it's worked out great. Another thing too, and I had this conversation recently with a member of town government. Just the recruitment and retention of employees to walk into that building, and I was there, and I'm not trying to beat it up. That's where I started my career in Washington Mills there.
Yeah.
But you attract somebody today, a young professional law enforcement candidate today, and they walk in, I think they expect to see a professional office with the right tools and equipment to get the job done, and I don't think that necessarily gave that presence over there.
Yeah.
And
you have it now.
In the end, anyway, it didn't.
Yeah. You have it. You certainly have it now.
Absolutely.
The old Gander Mountain. Anything else you want to cover? Remind people here in New
I think
Hartford?
you brought up a great point. Holiday season's not too far away. We say this every year. Use patience. Leave some distance when we're talking about traveling in your vehicle through the town. Also, we have car larcenies, as other jurisdictions have as well. We encourage people to leave valuables, take valuables with you. At least lock them in the trunk if you choose to do so. Definitely take the keys out of the car and lock the vehicle. A couple years back, we went through quite a spike with stolen vehicles in the area, and most of those cases were where the keys were left inside. Not to say we don't ever have a window smashed, but with the cars locked and the windows are up and the keys are with you, and that really does help.
And it really is important to not leave something visible.
Right.
Because when they're looking in the windows, you're just giving them an inspiration to get in if there's something
many
showing.
times they'll take a peek in and jiggle a door handle. If they see something worthwhile inside and the door handle is, the door's open, it's going to get taken.
Right.
So
they're going in. So we appreciate it. Chief Ron Fontaine, New Hartford Police, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Getting a little
Thanks,
loud
guys.
in here, Sheriff. We got a lot of people.
Wow.
You're drawing them.
Thank you. Thank you to
so
Sheriff
much.
Maciol for the organizing it. Appreciate it.
And thank you to your officers for being on standby over the
Yes,
weekend.
I'll pass it along. If they're not listening, I'll see them this morning. Let them know.
All right, we appreciate it. Chief Ron Fontaine with New Hartford. Got a break. We'll come back here to Daylight Donuts. It's Coffee with a Cop with Sheriff Rob Maciol at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Their experienced team is here to offer personalized advice for all your tire needs. Now through October 31st, purchase 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires and receive up to $170 in rebates. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals is ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today at tallmanstire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices, guaranteed.
3 things to remember about Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw. 1. Marianne is the most independent member of the State Assembly. No majority member votes for us more than she does. 2. Marianne is the only Mohawk Valley representative who has a seat at the table of power. She's in the room, pushing back against the downstate agenda. And 3. Marianne is one of the few true moderates in the State Assembly. As a result, she's supported by New York's most important labor unions and endorsed by the Business Council and the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Assemblywoman Buttonshaw supports small business, police, firefighters, and first responders. She's a career educator who delivered record increases in aid for local schools. She's a farmer who understands and supports other farmers. And she's reasonable, tough, and independent. Vote for Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw. She fights for the Mohawk Valley first. Paid for by Friends of Marianne Buttonshaw and not by the taxpayers of New York State.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
We're back here at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck Sedella's place. The Sedella brothers. And what do we talk about? The lattes, the pumpkin donuts. There's a cream cheese.
They do this pumpkin spice lattes all year round for pumpkin spice nuts.
And then there's the avocado toast with French peasant.
Which I'm going to try eventually because
bread,
that's my
breakfast
go-to a lot.
Ben Simon's in here right now. Good morning, Ben. Farmer Ben. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great, Bill, and nice to see you out of the studio, getting you out in the community here.
Since COVID, I go nowhere.
I gotcha.
Here we are. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So you are now on your farm. What you are growing? You don't milk cows anymore. What's your situation?
So my situation is after 40 years of milking cows, on August 20th, my wife and I and my son decided that that was enough of milking cows. It is demanding.
Oh, yeah.
And it's twice a day. You really can't get away from it. And then when you have hired help, sometimes, like I said, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Due to the hired help. So after 40 years, we decided that we would shut down the dairy portion of the farm. We're still continuing with the hay business. My son wants to go more into beef and raising pigs. We've been doing that for the past few years, selling to the local community, sides of beef, sides of pork.
That's a great way to go, too, especially if it's a larger family. The cost saving is incredible. If you talk about investing in local product with a local farmer as opposed to constantly going to the store. You don't know where the meat comes from.
And the thing that I like about it is, I know it's going to sound funny, but coming from a farmer, they would appreciate it, is we can set the price.
Right.
We're not mandated by a government program telling us how much we're going to get for our milk.
Interesting.
And my firewood business is just exploding. I've been very big in the firewood business, but now it's just, it's out of control, and I'm enjoying it.
Right,
so we're not changing the farm or being the farmer. It's just we're getting out of the dairy part of it.
It would be nice if the government would get out of the dairy farm business.
If the government would get out of a lot of things, we'd be much better for it.
Yeah. And then you have a booklet here which you helped rewrite, and I got about a minute and a half for you to talk about the importance of this.
Okay, so why I'm here today with Coffee with the Cop is the County Sheriff Rob Maciol a few years back invited me to a seminar that the governor was putting together to rewrite and revamp and renew the old slow-moving vehicle sign laws. And so state police, sheriffs, some big city police, or big rural community, I should say, rural community police, put together a part of the Governor's Traffic Safety Council, and I was a part of that to represent the farmers. And we rewrote the book for the slow-moving vehicle sign, which is that orange triangle. And so the reason that the sheriff asked me to come down today, and you, Bill, having me on the air,
thank you,
is with all these chiefs of police that are going to be here today, I brought a whole big pile of the new books that we're going to, the sheriff and I, Farmer Ben, are going to be presenting to the new the police chiefs, that here's the new books, the new laws, and they really were changed quite a bit, because now the farmer has some skin in the game too.
What is the biggest change? 60 seconds. What is the biggest rule that people should remember?
The biggest rule for the farmer is that if the new farm machinery, they do have lighting on them. for the community out there, if the machinery is getting much bigger. So we're trying to emphasize that if you can't see the driver of that tractor, the driver can't see you.
Yeah.
So
And
safety
that's-
for everyone.
Big. Slow down when you see these vehicles. Be careful passing. Oftentimes, the farmer will guide you if you can see them. So, just the reality is just be careful out there. Ben, we always appreciate having you on. We'll get you back in to talk more about this.
Thank you, Bill and Andrew.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, buddy.
We have news coming right up. Stand by. We're live at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
It may be the last debate before the presidential election. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And Vice President Harris's running mate Tim Walz asked former President Trump's VP pick J.D. Vance.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind?
They also sparred over the economy.
Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens.
Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share.
Abortion rights, another big issue, with Walz critical of Republican-led states with abortion bans.
These are women's decisions to make about their health care decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this.
I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies.
But for the most part of the CBS News vice presidential debate, the two were civil and it did not get heated.
And at one point, they even shared a moment of empathy about gun violence. But the border and immigration was a major talking point. Vance saying a lot of what can help the issues at the border start with law enforcement. Walz, on the other hand, seemed to blame Trump instead of lining out how he would solve the problem.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer, Vance and Walz both pledged their support for Israel as it and Hezbollah keep attacking each other the day after Iran's attack.
Israel today is assessing the damage following a large-scale ballistic missile attack overnight that was launched by Iran. More than 180 missiles soaring through the skies of this country. Some of them were intercepted, others slamming into the ground below.
Fox's Trey Ingston, Haifa, Israel, where there were no deaths, though a terror attack in Tel Aviv left 7 dead.
Overnight, the Israeli Security Cabinet gathered to discuss what the Israeli response would be to this attack. Reports indicate it will be significant.
Crews keep searching for people still unaccounted for in Helene's devastation. The hurricane blamed for at least 161 deaths. President Biden will tour damaged areas of North Carolina today. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Last night's debate was 5 weeks before the election. And there is still controversy about the voting in one of the toss-up states, Georgia.
A judge in Fulton County hearing challenges to 2 rules recently passed by Georgia's election board. One requires poll workers at each polling place to independently hand count ballots in addition to machine tabulation. Another requires election officials to conduct a reasonable inquiry into election results before certifying them. The Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Party of Georgia allege the changes violate state law and that they will spark confusion and delays on election night in the swing state. The board's GOP majority arguing they aim to enhance election security. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
There is an empty cell on death row in Texas the morning after a convicted murderer got a lethal injection.
61-year-old Garcia Glenn White was convicted for the murders of his daughters and their mother in their Houston apartment back in 1989. White actually confessed to murdering 5 people in a 6-year period, but prosecutors only pursued charges for the teenage girls. His execution went forward after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected 3 last-ditch appeals. While strapped to the execution table, White apologized to some of his victims' family members, saying he was sorry for all the pain he had caused. He's the 6th prisoner to be put to death in the U.S. in less than 2 weeks. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks may drop again. Futures are down after a sell-off to start October that dragged the Dow down 173 points off its record high. Baseball's postseason started with a quadruple header.
Here's Fernando Tatis. He swings, sends one high and deep to left.
That home run was all the Padres needed in San Diego's 4-0 win over Atlanta on ESPN. The New York Mets beat Milwaukee in the other National League Series 8-4. In the AL, Kansas City blanked Baltimore 1-0. Detroit beat Houston 3-1. All those series resume today. The teams that lost yesterday face elimination. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Three things to remember about Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshot. 1. Marianne is the most independent member of the State Assembly. No majority member votes for us more than she does. 2. Marianne is the only Mohawk Valley representative who has a seat at the table of power. She's in the room, pushing back against the downstate agenda. And 3. Marianne is one of the few true moderates in the State Assembly. As a result, she's supported by New York's most important labor unions and endorsed by the Business Council and the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Assemblywoman Buttonshot supports small business, police, firefighters, and first responders. She's a career educator who delivered record increases in aid for local schools. She's a farmer who understands and supports other farmers. And she's reasonable, tough, and independent. Vote for Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshot. She fights for the Mohawk Valley first. Paid for by Friends of Marianne Buttonshot and not by the taxpayers of New York State.
Imagine this. You're coming down the stairs. You miss a step, but you catch yourself. And that's when you feel it. It's your knee, and it really hurts. Now you have to make a choice. The faster you see an orthopedic specialist, the sooner you'll be on your way to recovery. Choose Community Memorial Center for Orthopedics, now with a clinic open every Wednesday in New Hartford. You'll get fast access to world-class orthopedic care. We have imaging on site, and you'll be treated by Dr. Rochelle Takamoto. She's one of the most respected orthopedists in the area, and she's done more VELYS robotic-assisted surgeries than any female physician in the world. So whether it's a new injury or a long-term pain in any joint, walk into our clinic and get treated by one of the best orthopedic specialists in the area in the shortest time possible. That's Community Memorial Center for Orthopedics, with clinics weekdays in Hamilton and now every Wednesday at 83 Genesee Street in New Hartford. Visit orthoemergency.com.
Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give. And Eurydice was a young girl, but she'd seen how the world was. She fell in spite of herself in love with Orpheus.
Broadway Utica proudly presents Hadestown, October 8th and 9th at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, go to BroadwayUtica.org.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You can be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:09. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now we're at 56 degrees under cloudy skies outside of our makeshift studio here at Daylight Donuts for our National Coffee with a Cop Day celebration with the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Some sunshine coming through the clouds. We've got your full weather forecast coming up. This update brought to you by the Stanley Center for the Arts. The Onondaga County Sheriff's Department is mourning the death of a retired lieutenant. According to authorities, 67-year-old Curtis Daly passed away Monday following a motorcycle crash on I-81 in Oswego County. Daly lost control of his motorcycle, causing it to hit a guardrail, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Daly began his law enforcement career in 1980 as a dispatcher, and he retired in 2015. The cause of the accident is still under investigation. 2 other deaths occurred in the last 3 days involving motorcycle accidents. One, a 23-year-old man who worked at Standard Insulating. A mother accused of killing her own 5-year-old daughter has now been arraigned on more charges. Prosecutors claim Latasha Mott beat Nefertiti Harris while the child was in the shower of their Syracuse home back in January. Mott then hid her daughter's remains in a shallow grave behind an apartment complex. She was initially charged with manslaughter, but that's been upgraded to murder. Mott remains in custody and is being held without bail. With just under 5 weeks until Election Day, the candidates hoping to represent the 22nd Congressional District have taken part in a debate. Last night's showdown between incumbent Republican Congressman Brandon Williams and Democrat State Senator John Mannion happened at Syracuse University. Both men talked about a wide variety of issues, including health care, the economy, and border security. The district covers all of Madison and Onondaga counties, plus parts of Cayuga, Cortland, and Oneida counties. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer calling for more funding to combat viruses that are spread by mosquitoes. There have been multiple cases of Eastern equine encephalitis confirmed in New York over the last few months, and an Ulster County resident passed away after contracting it. Schumer wants an additional $65 million to go to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Vector-Borne Diseases program. Experts believe climate change is one reason there are more mosquitoes than normal this year. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time, 7:11. Your weather forecast for today. We'll see rain showers likely afternoon, cloudy with a high in the low 60s otherwise. Cloudy overnight with a low falling into the upper 40s. Then tomorrow, some morning fog, otherwise sunny skies with highs back into the mid-70s. You can always get the full 5-day forecast anytime at WIBX950.com. Right now we're 56 degrees under partly cloudy skies at 7:12. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. Home field was anything but an advantage in the opening round of the MLB playoffs. The Tigers took down the Astros 3-1 from Houston to gain a 1-0 lead in their American League wildcard series. The Orioles suffered a similar fate after dropping Game 1 to the visiting Royals 1-0. The Mets walked into Milwaukee and blasted the Brewers 8-4 to go up 1-0 in the National Wild Card Series. And the Padres were the only team to win at home, securing a 4-0 victory over the Braves. All 4 best-of-3 series continue today, with elimination on the table for clubs down 1-0. Major League Baseball reported that its average attendance grew in consecutive years for the first time in over a decade. The average attendance rose 0.9% this season to mark the first time it has grown in back-to-back years since the 2011-2012 season. Major League Baseball drew 71.35 million fans for an average of 29,568 per game, which is the most since 2017. The Dodgers, Phillies, Padres, Yankees, and Braves were the top 5 teams in the majors with the most fans in attendance. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:13. We are here in New Hartford at Daylight Donuts. The smell of bagels, coffee, avocado toast, fresh donuts wafting over to our studio here. I'm trying to resist the donuts.
I mean, I don't want to mention a competitor, but years ago when I worked at K-Rock, our studio was in a diner.
That's right.
And this is what we would smell in the morning when
All
we
the
would
time.
when we would do the show. So it was kind of neat to be able to just walk out the studio, go through a back door, and you were able to have breakfast. Well, we can do that here this morning at Daylight Donuts, which is pretty cool. Thanks to Sheriff Rob Maciol. It is Coffee with a Cop. And it's an opportunity for people to come out and chat with your local police officer.
Absolutely. As you can see, we got a building full of police officers from all agencies. We have deputy sheriffs. We have state troops, state police here. We have the Rome Police Department, New Hartford Police Department. So if anybody wants to come down and have a conversation with any of the members of the law enforcement here, we invite you down. Like I said, this is just an opportunity.
At Mattress Express, we deliver quickly. If you've waited too long for your mattress to be delivered elsewhere, simply bring your receipt in. We will deliver the same or comparable mattress, and we will meet or beat the price and get it to you quickly. Come see us today.
Imagine this. You're coming down the stairs. You miss a step, but you catch yourself. And that's when you feel it. It's your knee, and it really hurts. Now you have to make a choice. The faster you see an orthopedic specialist, the sooner you'll be on your way to recovery. Choose Community Memorial Center for Orthopedics, now with a clinic open every Wednesday in New Hartford. You'll get fast access to world-class orthopedic care. We have imaging on site, and you'll be treated by Dr. Rochelle Takamoto. She's one of the most respected orthopedists in the area, and she's done more VELYS robotic-assisted surgeries than any female physician in the world. So whether it's a new injury or a long-term pain in any joint, walk into our clinic and get treated by one of the best orthopedic specialists in the
I'm
area
back now.
in
I'm
the shortest time
reconnected.
possible. That's Community Memorial Center for
Possible this
Orthopedics,
internet's
with
not
clinics
good here.
weekdays in Hamilton and now every Wednesday at 83 Genesee Street in New Hartford. Visit orthoemergency.com.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every
back
food
now.
request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater
I'm
saves
gonna
your
try
favorite restaurants and orders, which
something
makes
here.
reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
We were talking to Sheriff Maciol, and Davey, I tried another connection. Let's see if this is a little more stable. We're doing here. Good morning. And we're live at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. In our studio here in the corner at Daylight is Rome Police Chief Kevin James. Chief, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on here.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
So you probably don't normally leave Rome. This is a trip outside of Rome for you today.
No, I'm all over the place.
I'm sure you are. So talk about the things that you guys are dealing with in the city of Rome right now.
I think we're dealing with a lot of what a lot of the communities around the country are dealing with. Uptick in gun violence, uptick in homeless, especially.
Yeah.
Where
did these people come from?
I honestly can't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, for the longest time in Rome, we've had a homeless population of probably a handful.
Yeah.
And lately, over the last few years, it's just kind of exploded.
Seeing new faces, people you've never seen before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of implants into the city that just never used to be.
It
And
used
they're
to
from
be-
all over the country.
That's very interesting. It used to be a thing in Syracuse. You'd drive to Syracuse.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd see the panhandlers. It's not something we ever dealt with here. Now, all of a sudden, it's become a thing. And I don't know if it's drugs or I don't know what it is.
I'd say probably the biggest component to that, I believe, would be probably mental health.
Okay.
I think that the services are there for them, but I don't know that they know how to actually get to those services.
In some cases, they don't want those services.
You have your habitually homeless. They just don't want any help.
Yeah.
But there's some out there that really just don't really know exactly where to go. And one of the things that we're doing in Rome, along with the City of Rome and the Rome City Court, is we're looking into what's called a community court. So everybody calls the police on the homeless, and they want us to remove, the police, the homeless, and we certainly ticket them and make arrests when necessary, but that's not going to solve the problem.
No,
right?
So what we're kind of working on in conjunction with the city and in the court system is the community court, where when they get this demographic gets a ticket or show up to court, then they it's kind of like a diversion court. So they divert them over to these resources and provide them with these options and say, hey, listen. This can go away. Your fine can go away. All that can go away. And then if you take care of these services, if you do the program, if not, then you're just going to be right back in here.
Right.
And we feel like that's going to be a better way to handle the situation in Rome with the homeless. So policing your way out of this stuff is just not going to work.
The Supreme Court, at least a new decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that municipalities no longer have to allow people to set up camp or to live in an alleyway or what have you. So it gives you a little bit of ability to do something, but ultimately to stand on a public space. And there's not much that can be done.
Correct. Unless it's kind of an aggressive panhandling, aggressive begging or whatever. If they're just there asking for money, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
If they're laying on the sidewalk, it's generally a public sidewalk. And the frustration with the community, grows each time they call, and then we show up, and there's not a lot we can do, criminally. And let's face facts: we can arrest them. We can give them all the fines we want. We could put them in jail. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They live in the woods.
Yeah, you're right. And in some cases in the wintertime, an arrest might not be a terrible thing for them.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's funny because, the old school homeless we had, we knew they would flare up in the wintertime because they had that.
They had the warm.
They had a little bit of warm bed for maybe a month or so. That's kind of gone away with the bail reform stuff.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of bail reform, you've had your cases in Rome, just like everybody else has, where somebody shoplifts, police come, you handle it, you release them with an appearance ticket,
steal a car,
over and over again,
and over and over again. What?
It's for lack of a better term, it's just a train wreck. It certainly needed to be dealt with and reformed, but we went so far on the opposite end of where it needed to be. That it's just created such a big problem. You no longer have punishments or recourse for minor stuff.
Right.
So when you get away with this minor thing, then maybe you try to get away with something else, and then further on down the road. And then we're not able to really do anything until they're committing major crimes.
Right.
I can't wrap my head around that one, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it makes no sense. We're tougher on our kids. Well, maybe some people are not. But we would hope that we're better at disciplining our children. It's created such a mess. I think until it becomes a problem downstate, and they start seeing, which is really happening, we're not going to see any change.
No, and I was hopeful for that for a while. I just don't know that I am at this point anymore because it doesn't affect them. They're all in their gated communities.
Right.
They're all in their high-rise, buildings, and they don't deal with it.
Security.
Absolutely. They're not seeing what your average citizen is seeing out there. And they're not listening to the people who are dealing with these
on the ground
these issues every day.
Yeah.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention, of course, your department's response to the devastating day in July where the storms came. Talk about, as a fire or police chief, rather, what that experience was like for you, what was going through your head that day, and how you kind of organized the response to that.
Well, I was actually in a meeting trying to set up a recruitment video for the police department, and we were looking out the window and it started to pour, started to get crazy. and the wind just started going nuts. And we're like, I have the top floor office. We're like, we should probably get out of there.
Yeah.
So we go down, and then, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of that knucklehead just looking out the window going, man, that looks terrible. Not thinking tornado, I can tell you that.
I don't think
How would you
any of us
expect that?
would think that.
No.
But then when you start seeing debris, that's when you realize
absolutely
something's going on here.
So when I could see, I was like, oh, boy. So honestly, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of the response of everybody in the city.
Yeah.
You know, our officers, as soon as the dust settled, per se, we did a radio check, made sure all our guys were okay, and then everybody just went to work. All that training kicked in. And we just started figuring out what do we got to do next. So we set up a incident command, and I got to tell you, I mean, the response that I got from everybody in the area, sheriff's office, state troopers, local police departments, Chief Fontaine had reached out. Utica Chief Williams reached out. All these people reached out. The police chief from Syracuse reached out.
We became one community.
Absolutely. And that's that's one thing I kind of want to focus on in that response to it all is that you can say what you want, like the police, don't like the police, but what a community it is. The way we come together when things get bad is amazing, and you're not going to find that in very many other professions.
I also think that this is a great example of, we just went through that terrible time where defund the police and the police are bad, and every negative thing that's ever happened was right there on your TV every single day. This was a great example for people to see that police are there to help you. Who do you call when you're in trouble, when you have a problem? And you guys were there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know we get a lot of negative press when we mess up. We don't get as much positive press when we do things above and beyond. But I can tell you that it's an amazing career, and unfortunately it's been kind of demonized over the years.
It has, and very unfairly, to the point where you ended up getting a lot of retirements and people just and you couldn't blame them. Who would want to risk everything? Everybody, it was a crazy time. But we seem to be leaving that time. I hope.
I hope so. And you see, and here's the thing: the good thing, like Rome is our community truly does support us.
Yeah.
You go everywhere. During the tornado, piles of food. Piles and piles and piles of food.
One of the comforting things about Central New York.
Absolutely. I think it's the Italian in Rome there.
Oh,
When someone's hurting, you send them food. So.
Yeah, right. And we say this about the Sheriff's Department, Rome PD, Utica Police. You guys got out ahead of this long before the national story with community relations and I whether it be playing a baseball game or being at schools and that sort of thing. I really feel like the problems that existed and probably still do in some cases around the country are not problems we see for the most part.
I'll tell you what, in response to that tornado, I wish that people could see truly the professionalism, the experience, the training. It was awe-inspiring to watch how everybody came together and handled that situation that nobody was prepared for. A tornado in a city in upstate New York, nobody was prepared for.
Nobody,
But, we all came together for the common goal. And I can't sit up here and talk about the police without talking about the DPW response. The city of Rome DPW, the city workers for the DPW, the county DPW that came in, the area. We had them from everywhere. Those were the ones that when I was in the command center and we were talking, they were the ones getting everything done. And it was amazing.
I found really interesting was we had a problem because we immediately started a drive for water. We did it at Chinantries.
Yes.
And then the county started something, and another organization started something, and I got a call from the county executive's office and said, "What are you doing? We're already doing something." That's amazing when you think about it. There were so many drives people stepping up that we were getting in the way of each other.
Absolutely. I mean, we had to tell people no.
We're
no
more.
All set.
Yeah,
we're all set, and that's that's wonderful.
Yeah,
and I can tell you. I mean, I drove around the city a lot throughout the hours and days following, and I got to say, one positive out of that would be that I drove by and I saw people sitting on porches talking to each other.
Yeah,
because they had no power. They had nothing going on.
That's interesting.
Kids were playing in the roads. They were playing in the yards together.
No devices.
No devices.
Yeah,
and,
video games.
They were talking. The neighborhoods. You know, it was almost like it used to be.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see. In the midst of all the chaos. And this is right in South Rome.
Yeah.
In the midst of all the chaos, they were sitting there, hanging out, talking, and being there for each other. And that's
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Someone calls police. There are these kids in a park. All these kids are gathering in a park. What are they doing? Well, they're playing baseball.
Yeah.
Hanging out. Could you imagine?
Kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's pretty wild.
Yep.
So, great story. Kevin James, Chief of Police in Rome, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you,
I can't imagine what you guys went through during all that, but to see everybody come together, what a great story.
It was amazing.
Yep. All right, we'll break and come back at 7:30 at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford on WIBX.
Long before Brian Miller was fighting for upstate New York as our assemblyman, he was part of a small team of MVCC engineering graduates who designed machinery to manufacture superalloy metal powder. Today, what Brian designed at Homogeneous Metals in Clayville is still being used in their process to manufacture parts found in jet engines being flown all over the world. That is impressive. And so is getting politicians to work together at Albany. It takes a special kind of person to engineer that. Brian puts on the blinders, politics aside, and he works to create better jobs and opportunity for all of us, including our graduates and young people who are finally seeing career opportunities right here at home. Brian fights for seniors, farmers, education, small business, and those of us affected by inflation simply trying to make ends meet. This election, vote Brian Miller, New York Assembly, a representative for all of us. Paid for by Brian Miller for Assembly.
What's up, Utica? It's Ryan Schmelzer. It's Sam LaBerge. It's Joe Gambardella. Fires! Score! Are you ready for Comets hockey? It's fast, it's intense, it's a good time. We need you in the building. You can't miss a moment. Every hit, every goal, it's right here, it's now. Live music every Friday night and $3 beer on Wednesdays. We'll see you there.
Get your tickets while you can at uticacomets.com/tickets.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Daylight Donuts, Sheriff Maciol put this together, and listen, if you want to
It's
shoplift
busy.
or think you're going to steal a donut, don't do it here. Don't do it here. You have many police officers throughout, and New York State troopers. Trooper Josh Cox is a recruiter for New York State Police and is with us right now. Josh, good morning. Thanks so much.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So your job is to bring in. Has it become more difficult to recruit police officers?
It has. I think it's a pendulum, and I think with time we're going to get there. It's generation, with COVID and all that stuff. But I think we made some changes. I think it's gonna improve here soon. The younger generation seems to be very motivated.
Yeah.
So we're looking to get a positive outlook for sure.
There was a time, and you were the wrong example. I'll just tell you, there was a time when troopers had to be a certain height.
Yeah.
And that is no longer. Am I
Right,
correct?
no.
A guy like me could actually be a trooper.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no height required anymore.
No height requirement, because the troopers were always his size.
Yeah.
Big guys.
One of the interesting things you just brought up is the fact that, while there may be some difficulties in recruiting numbers, the candidates you do have are very excited, enthusiastic, and eager to join the force.
Yeah, you have people that know they want to be a police officer. I knew in third grade, I got a sheet at home when I was in third grade. I said, I want to grow up, I want to go to college, I want to be a police officer. A lot of people know at a young age, and they're going to do what it takes to become a police officer. And then there's some that maybe they just don't know about the opportunities that it brings and what the job entails. So that's kind of our job, is to show them what we do. We can do ride-alongs. We can give them information, what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's not just pulling cars over and going to complaints. There's a million different opportunities within this agency.
And I got to say this quietly, but I've heard that being in the New York State Police, the benefits and some of the compensation can be quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very competitive. We're in the middle of a contract now, so it could get better. Our starting salary in the academy, you're making $65,000 in the academy.
Right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. Once you graduate that and get off probation, $98,000 in total compensation. Within 4 to 5 years, you're making $115,000. That's base pay. That's not counting any overtime and stuff you want to work, hazard duty pay. So the money's there, 20-year retirement. I'm 10 years in. I'll be 43 years old when I can retire. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. So it's just, it's all about opportunities and making the best of it for sure.
That is I hate to say, but someone like both of us.
Yeah, what's the
we
age
probably
requirement? What's
never
the age
will
limit?
retire. So,
age limit 20 to take the test, 21 to accept the position. Now you have to be appointed before your 35th birthday. So it used to be 30. We've raised it to 35. If you're military, you get an additional up to 7 years for every year, active duty year you've done. So technically, if you're in the military, you could be, as long as you're appointed before your 43rd birthday, you could be up to 43 years old. So.
Andrew had asked you a couple things. We'll throw at you that we've the radar detector.
Sure.
We asked you about the Waze app, which you being not. I think the only troopers that would really know the Waze app are the ones on the thruway.
Sure.
Because that's really where it's used. But I thought your question was interesting because people always.
It's a back and forth. They can tell when you've got a radar detector.
You have a radar detector.
No.
I had someone tell me this too. It's like they know that there's a thing that comes up on the dash of their car. He's got a radar detector.
No, we say we know all, but no, that's not one of those things. Like I said, we usually know when they have the detector and they still don't use it, or we still pull them over for going 30 miles an hour over the speed limit. And once you get up to that car and say, you see it in the
I thought it was an automatic door opener. I'm sorry.
Although you're stationed up north, you're part of Troop D, which is a pretty large.
It's a huge area.
area.
I cover 7 counties. I live up north, up towards Fort Drum, Adams area. But I cover 7 counties, and it's busy all over.
Yeah. And you have a couple highways that.
Interstate 81.
Which people tend to fly a little bit on.
Now, and that's another interesting point too, is that in a lot of areas, New York State Police are covering territories and districts that there isn't a local municipality. So sometimes the duty of the New York State Police is a tough for response. I mean, you get there quickly, as quick as you can, but you're covering a broad range as far as actually going on calls and answering reports.
Yeah, I mean, at times, your closest backup sometimes could be 20, 25 minutes away. So it just depends on the jurisdiction. Some people like a super busy area where backup will be quicker. Some people like the rural area where sometimes you're you're by yourself. But it just depends on you and what you're into and what's going on. Yeah.
Have you always been in recruiting, or were you?
No, so I've been a recruiter for about 2 years. I worked the road, regular road patrol, got into drug interdiction, went to undercover school and stuff like that. That's the thing about this job. There's so many different opportunities, so you're not doing the same thing throughout your whole career. You can kind of bounce around if you choose to, and do different things and see what comes with it.
I have a friend who, actually, he's a relative, was a village local police officer, and then accepted a training program on drugs.
Yep.
And we were recently told that he is able to. Tell me if this is something that you've seen, or if you think it's true, or if this is the radar detector thing. Right. But he was trained to tell what type of drug a person is on by observing their reactions.
Yeah, so we have what's called drug recognition experts, so a DRE.
And that's what
they go to a training. Sometimes it's out of state. They'll go to Florida, Texas.
Yeah.
They do all this training that can determine what drug somebody's impaired with when they're being pulled over,
And you see a lot of that now, and with the marijuana legalized, it's a whole new problem.
Yep.
How do you handle that?
It's the same thing. It's very similar to alcohol. There's a bunch of tests that we run. It's the biggest thing is keeping the roadways safe. It's legalized, but you can't do it while you're driving.
Right.
You'll still be impaired. It's our job to keep the roads safe. So if we pull you over and you're showing signs and we get you out and run some tests, there's going to be consequences for your actions.
I'll ask you. There's some really nice New York State Trooper cars.
Yeah.
Do you have to be? I mean, is it a reward to be able to get like one of the Mustang or?
I know some of the nicer models.
A really souped-up Charger.
It kind of just depends on where you're sent, what they have for cars.
Yeah.
There's the Chargers and the Tahoes, and there's some other ones that are in and out. So it's just kind of what's at your station, and then if you get a pick, great. But if you don't, you just kind of start with what you get, and
as long as you don't get one of Dave Olney's old ones from the 90s.
Right.
He's got some nice cars.
He does, yes. So you know Dave.
Yep.
We know Dave quite well. So, and then finally, New York City detail.
Yep.
I know you're in Troop D, but now, at some point, it was the governor, maybe under Cuomo, or the mayor. I don't know who actually invited New York State Police into New York City.
Yep.
I've heard that's kind of a little interesting back and forth. NYPD may not love it. Is that what's your take on New York State Police in New York City? It's something you never saw before.
Like you said, I'm not down there. I don't live there.
Yeah.
I don't. That's a long ways from here. I know obviously we have a role there, that we're there for a reason, whether it's help deterrent the subways, the bridges, the airports and stuff like that. I do know some troopers that work down there. They seem to enjoy it. Again,
yours is a whole different world.
It's a policing here and policing in New York City is a lot different. So
much different.
I'm not really familiar with all the roles down there, but I look at it as we're one big team. No matter the uniform you got on, whether you're county, whether you're local PD, state trooper, we all work together. That's the goal, to get the job done at the end of the day.
All right, so there's someone listening right now that's thinking, that might be a good career for me, or a mom that's saying, I think my kid should do this. What do you say to those people?
We have a test open now. 20 years old, you can take our test. High school diploma, GED, U.S. citizen. Right to our website, joinstatepolice.ny.gov. You apply right at the top. It'll redirect you to a Pearson VUE test page. You sign up, take the test. Got to be 21 to accept the position. We do still require 60 college credits. And if you have any information, or you have any questions, Troop D recruitment team right on our website. You can email me, and I can contact you and get you squared away.
And no height requirement anymore.
No height
Can you
requirement.
believe it? It's crazy. I could have been.
We'll take it.
I could. Yeah. Well, back when I could have been, there was a height requirement. Trooper Josh Cox, thank you very much. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We're with Sheriff Rob Maciol here this morning. We'll come back in a second. Stand by. It's 7:43 at WIBX.
Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas is your authorized dealer for Artesian Spas. Made in America, made for you, and made to last. Artesian Spas are designed with your wellness in mind, and Tucker Backyard has many styles and designs displayed in their one-of-a-kind showroom. Come see for yourself and experience fully functional spas in their unique setting. Ben Tucker and his staff will be happy to assist with their interactive showroom, helping you pick out the right spa fitting both your needs and budget. Relax in your new spa this fall with Tucker Backyard and Artesian. While there, ask about the new line of fiberglass pools, built to last for years and never needing a liner. Beauty and complete durability more affordable than ever before. Add fun, comfort, wellness, and value to your home with Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas is your authorized dealer for Artesian Spas. 8086 Seneca Turnpike, 1 mile west of Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com.
We bring the fun to your backyard.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
Join members of Christ the King Shrine on Thursday, October 3rd from 2 to 4 at the Good News Center to meet guest speaker Jerome Donovan. Leave a message at 315-797-2546 to RSVP.
My name is Danielle Thazier. I'm a vascular surgeon at the Wynn Hospital. As a vascular surgeon, we work on the vascular system of the body, which includes the arteries and veins. People come to see vascular surgeons for a variety of reasons. We treat aneurysms, peripheral arterial disease, carotid disease. We also treat venous disease, varicose veins. We can do vein stripping, or we can do vein ablations where we go inside the vein and close the vein off. We can treat them minimally invasively. The Wynn offers us a great opportunity to do that because we have state-of-the-art hybrid operating rooms. That means we can operate in the traditional sense as well as do the endovascular procedures, which means that we're using the catheters and the wires and the stents in the same setting as doing open vascular surgery. Minimally invasive vascular surgery often is a day procedure. Patients come in the same day as they go home, and they go home feeling much better than they came in.
Hi, this is Paul Collis from Fred F. Collis & Sons with some exciting news about NYSERDA's Empower Plus program. This program provides our income-eligible customers with free home energy upgrades like insulation, heat pumps, and hybrid water heaters. As an example, a family of 4 making under $93,000 can qualify for between $5,000 and $24,000 in free upgrades. Count on Collis to improve your comfort and start the process by scheduling your free home energy assessment at fredfcollis.com.
Need new tires? Nokian Tires is celebrating 90 years of legendary Hakkapeliitta winter tires with a consumer rebate. Now through October 31st. When you buy 4 select winter, all-season, and all-weather tires, you can save up to $80 by mail on a MasterCard prepaid card. Offer expires October 31st, 2024. Experience the thrill of savings on every mile at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit their stores and meet their team of experts, or schedule your appointment online at tallmanstire.com.
This is Keeler in the Morning, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Daylight Donuts, and you can pull that right there. I think you all have, if you wanted to, so yep, there you go, perfect. We're all at Daylight Donuts, and Sheriff Maciol's Coffee with a Cop, which oftentimes we're here with Senator Griffo, who's a bit under the weather these days.
That's what I understand. I hope he feels better.
I have heard, yeah.
Yeah, not feeling well, but so we got to come up with a better. I know he has Joe time, so we got to come up with a lingo for this, with our coffee for the Cobb Day. But it's a great opportunity. The place has been packed since we started here at 6.
It has. Yeah.
We've had all the major law enforcement agencies here represented. It's a great opportunity for us, like I said, to build a relationship with the community. Plus, for this area to see some of the other agencies that we work together with, because I say it all the time, none of us can do this job together. We need the other law enforcement agencies to work with us. They need us. We need them, and we need the citizens to help us. So it's teamwork about keeping our community safe.
In our corner studio here at Daylight Donuts is Marianne Buttonshaw. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
She parked her cattle, her convertible outside, I believe. This is a crazy world we live in, and it seems to have hit locally here with some of the commercials that are out there. Obviously, though, you seem to be putting your head down and plowing forward.
We're very busy. I got a lot going on. As far as today, thank you, Sheriff, as it's so important for reminding our law enforcement how important they are to our community, and if they stop in and have a cup of coffee, as well as so many other supporters that you have here this morning. This month in the Assembly, we have a resolution where we honor our first responders on the 28th of October, something that we've done every year. And I'm always honored to invite that day for many individuals. Yesterday, the Senator and I, with Assemblymember Miller, toured 2 state prisons, Mohawk and Mid-State. Those tours, the Commissioner came out, and we heard right firsthand from our COs and staff members what's going on and what they need. So very proud to carry and pass legislation that identifies with 50A expansion. So if there is any FOIL request on an officer, they are notified, which is important.
And that's important. A lot of people don't realize the importance of that, especially for people working inside a correctional facility. If an incarcerated individual wants to see a correction officer's personnel file and they file a FOIL request for it, at least the officer will be alerted to it, because again, it's not only about their safety but their family's safety.
Yeah.
So again, I want to thank Assemblywoman Buttonshaw. Again, she's one of our strongest supporters for all first responders, not just law enforcement, corrections, firefighters, EMS. I mean, she is everywhere, and she's got our backs, and we truly appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
What do you? One of the things that we've heard from every police officer, police chief that we've spoken with here today is the bail reform issue, and obviously it's something that your opponent is basically blaming you for. What have you done? What is your opinion on what happened, and what have you done? Because I know you've acted along with the sheriff here to try to make changes and improve upon it. And some things have been done. What's your take on all of it? How do you respond to it?
Obviously, it has had effects that have been very negative. So what we've done is put legislation forward to make sure that we can bring back as many individuals as they talk about the importance of public safety. So judicial discretion is a piece of legislation I carry. The sheriff has come out to Albany with his counterparts, as well as the DA, numerous times to give specific situations that have affected individuals negatively within this community, so that we can change that legislation. We have changed domestic violence arrest in the process of not changing, the arrest, but the consequences. So each one of these we are peeling back. As you know, the difficulty of that legislation tied with funding for Rome schools during a detrimental time. So anyone in the city of Rome is well aware, as well as community members, of what was needed with that. So as far as what we need to continue to do is peel that back that fits to ensure not only the safety of all individuals, but the safety of our law enforcement.
So actually it was Chief James from Rome just a few minutes ago saying, there needed to be changes, there needed to be reform. but it just went way too far.
It did go too far, and as the Assemblywoman said, we've been working year after year. And the unique thing about sheriffs, there's 62 counties in New York. There are 57 sheriffs. 55 of us are elected, so we answer to the people of our community. And the sheriffs, even though we're a small group, we have some significant lobbying ability, and can meet with the key players in Albany. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the Assemblywoman and Senator Griffo. They were able to set meetings up with sheriffs from around the state with the critical legislators who can help us make the changes. And the Assemblywoman did a great job for introducing us and putting us at the table with some of the positive changes we've seen coming back are because of the results of us working with our state electeds, getting us at the table with the right people.
Another thing you've talked about, Marianne, is a change, and I'm not sure you'll ever accomplish this, but it is something that people should understand that is a problem. Is the fact that they tend, the governor's office, the budget office in New York State tends to like to put in the budget policy. So if you're faced with a situation where you're trying to get money for your local schools, but oh, by the way, the only way you're going to get that is if these two items over here, these policy items, get passed as well. Talk about that, and have you had any progress? Have you made any progress?
So we have had some progress, but not enough, because this has been going on since the Pataki era. It's not like it was something new that they just started a couple years ago. So it became somewhat of a habit, and a terrible habit that needs to be broken, because it is, as we sit in conference with discussion, is pull that policy out. Let's have those conversations at a different time, so that we can further enhance what needs to be done.
The reality is, how do you vote and forego the money needed for, in this case, Rome schools? How do you do that?
Right.
And then the other part of this is, I'm not sure everyone knew how bad bail reform was going to be when it was first passed. Although I know, Sheriff, you did a lot of lobbying on this.
We did a lot of lobbying, a lot of yelling. Yeah. And unfortunately, it was a lot worse than we even thought it would be.
Yeah.
But we have opportunities here to fix it, and we've been making headway. I mean, all of us, I think, we wish we were making more headway, but you know what? We're moving in the right direction. We have to stay positive. We have to take the high ground. We have to continue to work. And, we lobby with our victims because they can bring stories to the table that I can't.
Right.
But when you hear some of the tragedies of what people are going through, and this is, being October now, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, another very, very important thing. So, I mean, I'm just looking at a fact here because we put up facts every day for the month. But just imagine every minute, 32 people in the United States are victims of a domestic violence or intimate partner violent act. So that's a huge concern. So that's why it is critical to have people on our side who can help us make these changes.
Marianne, thank you. Anything you want to add?
I think just what the sheriff stated is the most important aspect is to continue to work to break down where those problems are. And I will work with everyone. So thank you.
Marianne Buttonshine, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and good luck out there.
Thank you.
It's a crazy world.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. It is a crazy world. We have a lot to get to here still to come as we're coming from Daylight Donuts into Hartford. We'll speak with Senator Joe Griffo. Assemblyman Brian Miller is coming up in a little bit. And then more from local police agencies. Ryan Nobles, what was his take on the debate last night? I would ask Andrew, but he watched Only Murders in the Building.
You're right. I couldn't resist it. They drop a new episode every Tuesday, and I just couldn't do it. I had to watch it.
I will tell you that
I'll get all the low lights and the highlights as we go on throughout the day.
And speaking with the sheriff, the general thought was it was a civil debate. It was people kind of. The two
Where's
of them.
The excitement?
There was really no screaming back and forth. It was professional. There was probably the biggest moment of the night was when the moderators asked Walls about one of his moments where he stretched the truth, and he struggled with that answer. So if you're looking at any flaws out of the debate, that would be it. Otherwise, it was policy. They were talking policy, and it would have been kind of a boring debate for you, Andrew.
I will go back and watch probably most of it, which is the benefit of the internet nowadays. But
it is.
The fiance and I decided to take a little break from it all and escape from reality.
Okay. Oh, we're going to talk about the. Okay. All right. I've got probably about a minute. Can we do it right after the
Let's
the
do it
news?
after the news.
We're going to get you. We're going to get you in, and we're going to talk about the fact that the civil service exam is open, and there's opportunity to get in there, and it could be a great gig, a great job, a great career, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a second. First, though, I'll take a quick break, Davey, and we have news coming up in 1 minute, top of the hour. Andrew will give you an update as well. It is all coming up from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford on WIBX.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM is celebrating its 99th birthday with talk show host and comedian Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and I am coming. This is not a drill, folks.
Jimmy Fallon heard on WIBX and radio stations around the country weekdays and seen on his live TV show Saturday nights on Fox News Channel is coming for one show only, Friday, December 6th at 8 p.m. at the Rome Capitol Theater.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Tickets start at $47 and are on sale now at RomeCapital.com. RomeCapital.com.
Bottom of the ninth on this show. I'm heading up to Utica. I'm doing the show live from WIBX tomorrow. Hanging out with my man Davey.
Jimmy Fallon, one night only at the Rome Capitol Theater from Keeler in the morning. And WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 99 amazing years. Get your tickets at RomeCapital.com.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Show sponsored in part by First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
It was a cool, calm clash. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. J.D. Vance and Tim Walz were mostly civil to each other in the CBS News vice presidential debate, taking aim at the top of the ticket with Vice President Harris's running mate calling the former president a threat to democracy.
And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election.
Vance fired back.
Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment.
And Vance said the vice president is to blame for inflation and record illegal immigration.
Drive the cost of food higher by 25%. Drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%. Open the American southern border and make middle-class life unaffordable.
But Walz says when it comes to national security,
it's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous.
Israel and Hezbollah keep battling. More bombings and rocket attacks in and out of Lebanon today, where one Israeli soldier has been killed, as Israel also plans a response to Iran's missile barrage.
We do know that Israel's advanced missile defense system, the Arrow 3, engaged some of the targets working to take down the fire, but video circulating online shows significant impacts and craters caused by the missiles. One Palestinian man was killed in the West Bank and two Israelis were injured. The Iranians say they used new Fatah hypersonic missiles and were responding to the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh.
Fox's Trey Hinks in Haifa, Israel, where there was also a terror attack, killing 7 people in Tel Aviv. Hurricane Helene now blamed for at least 161 deaths in 6 states as crews keep searching for more victims. President Biden will get an aerial tour of some of the devastation in North Carolina today. Vice President Harris will assess damage in Georgia days after former President Trump went there to meet victims. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax-advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
It is day 2 of a strike at ports from Maine to Texas, leaving ships idle and big containers unopened.
The ILA says that the Maritime Alliance, that is the shippers and the port companies, they say that their latest deal has fallen way short of their demands. The alliance offering dock workers a 50% wage increase, boosting the top earners from $39 per hour to about $58 per hour. The dock workers union says no, it wants a 77% wage increase.
Fox's Brian Yennis near picketing workers in Brooklyn, New York, and those workers also are demanding no automation. An actor is being mourned.
John Amos, who starred as the patriarchal figure James Evans Sr. in the series Good Times and the cultural sensation Roots, died August 21st in Los Angeles. He was 84 years old. His son, Kelly Christopher Amos, released a statement which read in part, "He was a man with the kindest heart and a heart of gold, and he was loved the world over. His legacy will live on in his outstanding works in television and film as an actor." Amos played an adult Kunta Kinte in the ABC historical miniseries Roots. He also had roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and All in the Family, and in the Eddie Murphy film Coming to America and its 2021 sequel. Maciol Polino, Fox News.
On Wall Street, falling futures suggest that stocks could drop, adding to yesterday's losses, knocking the S&P 500 off record highs. In the baseball playoffs,
the Yankees slices one the other way. Into score is
the New York Mets had a 5-run sixth inning, and they went on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers 8-4 in the National League playoffs in their series opener. San Diego shut out Atlanta in the other NL series. In the American League, Kansas City shut out Baltimore. Detroit topped Houston. They'll all play again today, and if the winners win again, they'll advance to the next round. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. Here in New Hartford, outside of Daylight Donuts, the sun is shining through clouds. 57 degrees. You've got your full weather forecast coming up. The Onondaga County Sheriff's Department is mourning the death of a retired lieutenant. According to authorities, 67-year-old Curtis Daly passed away Monday following a motorcycle crash on I-81 in Oswego County. Daly lost control of his motorcycle, causing it to hit a guardrail, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Daly began his law enforcement career in 1980 as a dispatcher, and he retired in 2015. The cause of the accident is still under investigation. A mother accused of killing her own 5-year-old daughter has now been arraigned on more charges. Prosecutors claim Latasha Mott beat Nefertiti Harris while the child was in the shower of their Syracuse home back in January. Mott then hid her daughter's remains in a shallow grave behind an apartment complex. She was initially charged with manslaughter, but those charges have been upgraded to murder. Mott remains in custody and is being held without bail. With just under 5 weeks until Election Day, the candidates hoping to represent the 22nd Congressional District have taken part in a debate. Last night's showdown between incumbent Republican Congressman Brandon Williams and Democrat State Senator John Mannion happened at Syracuse University. Both men talked about a wide variety of issues, including health care, the economy, and border security. The district covers all of Madison and Onondaga counties, plus parts of Cayuga, Cortland, and Oneida counties. Governor Hochul approving legislation aimed at making sure patients who are battling breast cancer can get the care they need. The measure expands insurance coverage for breast cancer screenings to include procedures that are recommended by nationally recognized clinical practice guidelines. These screenings include breast ultrasounds, MRIs, and mammograms. The American Cancer Society says the breast cancer death rate dropped 44% from 1989 to 2022. And the average amount of money neighbors plan to spend on Halloween this year is $277. According to a new survey by Nextdoor, $76 of that total is going to candy, and the rest is decorations and costumes. Most neighbors expect to start trick-or-treating between 6 and 7 p.m., while neighbors believe that 14 is the age children should stop going door-to-door to ask for candy. 85% of neighbors will ensure an adult is present while kids are out, and 63% say they plan to establish a route to ensure a safe trick-or-treating excursion. Your 8 a.m. code word to win Keeler's cash for today is 284. Type 284 into the WIBX 950 mobile app or WIBX950.com. Go to the trending bar, look for the Keeler cash code link. Type 284 for your chance at some big money. Right now it is 8:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the Stanley Center for the Arts. We'll see showers likely today, otherwise cloudy with a high in the low 60s. It will be cloudy overnight with a low around 48 degrees, then patchy fog to start the day tomorrow, otherwise sunny skies with a high back into the mid-70s. Right now we're at 57 degrees under partly sunny skies. It is 8:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. The Buffalo Bills are going to be without star defensive player Von Miller for the next 4 games.
Do we know what he did?
I believe there was an arrest last year that was related to domestic violence incident. After further investigation by the league, they have decided to suspend him for 4 games. No exact reason was given, but an arrest warrant was issued for Miller last year after he was accused of domestic violence. He'll be eligible to return to the field after the Bills play the Seattle Seahawks. To Major League Baseball, which is underway, the postseason, home field was anything but an advantage in the opening round as the Tigers took down the Astros 3-1 from Houston. The Orioles suffered a similar fate after dropping Game 1 to the visiting Royals 1-0. The Mets walked into Milwaukee and blasted the Brewers 8-4. And the Padres were the only team to win at home, securing a 4-0 victory over the Braves. All 4 best-of-3 series continues today, with elimination on the table for the clubs down 1-0. Finally, the Raiders may be moving on from star wide receiver Davante Adams. ESPN reporting that Vegas has informed other teams they would consider trading the 6-time Pro Bowler in exchange for a package that would include a second-round draft pick along with additional compensation. Adams sat out the team's Week 4 win due to a hamstring injury he suffered in practice last week. The 31-year-old has 18 catches for 209 yards and a touchdown this season. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:10.
I want to tell you here at Daylight Donuts, I didn't realize, but it's police officers and deputies, troopers, it's cops that are servicing you at the drive-through window as
awesome.
well. So you can chat with a cop. And they've been running the drive-thru all morning long. It's a pretty busy drive-thru, right? It's been busy this morning, all morning long. I want to tell you about Incera's Flooring Outlet. If you need flooring, there is no better place than Incera's. They have in stock the largest inventory in their Route 49 Plaza, the largest inventory in stock of anybody else. And that includes the big box stores, whether it's tile or carpeting. Pergo Extreme by Mohawk is an amazing product. There you get the 60-mile radius price guarantee and that huge inventory. So you get a real pick of some of the most unique products that you're not going to find everywhere else, which is cool. 6 months interest-free financing right now at Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy. Online, it's in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. You can get a $50 off coupon online on their website. And is it possible to drive an award-winning Mazda and get 0% APR financing? The answer is absolutely, according to Ricky Z at Steve Ponte Mazda. Drive a new 2024 Mazda CX-5 SE model. It's $285 a month on a 36-month lease, or you can save with 0% APR financing on select Mazdas. Award-winning new 2024 Mazdas. See the dealership for details. As Ricky Z says, come in, let's make your deal on a new Mazda where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. With the Oneida County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Curtis Morgan is in. He's his specialty with the Sheriff's Department, community affairs, and, of course, recruitment. And this is another opportunity, right? Where you're accepting. What are the dates, Lieutenant? What are we looking at right now for somebody that might be interested in a new career?
Absolutely, we've got the opportunity for corrections officer here in Oneida County. It's a great job, great opportunity for a career. We're looking for men and women that are over the age of 18, a high school diploma, driver's license, and they need to sign up before October 11th. And the best part about all this is Oneida County has waived all fees to take tests in the year of 2024.
Wow. It used to be, it wasn't overly expensive, but now you don't have to pay a fee.
I think it was $25, $30, something along that line. It's nothing huge, but if somebody's on a budget, limited income, that could be something that prevented them from doing it. So we've got to thank the county for removing that blockage this year.
And then there's testing. Explain what they have to go through.
So we do it a little bit different with the corrections exam. It's not that traditional Saturday morning you're sitting down at MVCC or another local place. You'll receive an email on November 1st, and you'll have from November 1st to November 31st to complete that paperwork, that exam. It'll be sent to your home. You could do it whenever is convenient for you. Again, it was another blockage to someone looking to start.Maybe they worked weekends, Saturday mornings. They weren't able to come out to the test site. So now they can do that in the comfort of their own home when they have time.
All right. I like it. Again, the dates.
So the most important date right now is the sign-up is October 11th. All tests have to be signed up for and in by 4:30 on that Friday.
Okay, all right. And it's a great. It's not just a job. It's a career. A great opportunity. You see people that get to retire at an early age, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The retirement's one huge benefit. Another is there's just room for advancement. Any number of things that you want to do. Chances to get some education in there and learn new skills. Really, it's probably one of the best things that you can do in our area with just a high school diploma.
Okay.
And you've enjoyed it immensely.
Absolutely.
As evidenced by every time you're at an event or press conference.
I've been with the Sheriff's Office for about 15 years, all within the Corrections Division. It was a great choice for me. The only regret I have is I didn't start sooner.
Right. Interesting. All right. Obviously, go to the website, get the details.
Yep, ocgov.net. Underneath the Personnel tab, people will be able to find that out. If there's any questions, concerns, or problems, they can reach out to the Community Affairs Office, 315-765-2222.
All right. Lieutenant Curtis Morgan, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to break, Davey, and we'll come back here to Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. We're here all morning long, right up till 9 o'clock, and it is jam-packed in here.
Popular spot.
Popular item going out the door is the avocado toast on French peasant bread from Heidelberg. Toasted and really delicious. All right, we'll break, and we'll come back to Daylight Donuts with Sheriff Rob Maciol's Coffee with a Cop on WIBX.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give. And Eurydice was a young girl, but she'd seen how the world was. She fell in spite of herself in love with Orpheus.
Broadway Utica proudly presents Hadestown, October 8th and 9th at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, go to BroadwayUtica.org.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow by New Nordic. Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow. With its patented tocotrienol complex, Hair Grow naturally reduces inflammation in the scalp and is clinically proven to promote new hair growth and increase hair count in as little as 4 months. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and launched her business, one paw at a time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Their experienced team is here to offer personalized advice for all your tire needs. Now through October 31st, purchase 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires and receive up to $170 in rebates. Whether you're in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, or Herkimer, their team of professionals is ready to serve you. Schedule your appointment today at TallmansTire.com. Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Get the best tires for your vehicle at unbeatable prices guaranteed.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness.
Sure, this guy, that's a joke in itself.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hartford and Brian Miller is making his way over to the microphone.
Assemblyman extraordinaire.
Assemblyman Miller, good morning. We were just talking about the debate last night. Did you see any of the vice presidential debate last night?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
You didn't?
We had a busy day yesterday. I was a little tired, and I sat down to watch it. Next thing I know, it was all over, and I missed it.
I got to tell you, it was really nice to have the Mets game on at 5:30.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome because there was no falling asleep during that.
No, I fell asleep. Well, I had a little thumb injury a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Took the end of my thumb off, so it kind of throbs at night. So you take a couple Tylenol PM
and
and
away you go.
away you go.
Nice.
And so I missed it. The way it sounds, there really wasn't a lot of fireworks. It was
No, it was. There was one moment where Walls struggled, and I give ABC credit because they asked some tough questions of both candidates, and he struggled. He apparently has this is the second time he's kind of embellished the truth. What was this one?
Being in Hanoi or in Hong Kong
during the Tiananmen Square he said he was there and he wasn't. Now he was in China. I think he could have come up with a much better way to answer that. Like, you know what? I got caught up in the moment and I misspoke. End it right there.
That's right.
Yeah. For God's sake.
Go on to something else.
This constant, hyperbole and talking about trying to talk your way out of something by avoiding the question is a mistake.
Bad move.
So if there was a flaw by either candidate, I would say that was it. But he recovered from it, and the two of them were actually pretty civil to each other.
Well, that's good. And, you know, that's really the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, right now, the voters want to be informed on policy, what their positions are. And, we're, 33, 34 days out of election.
Yeah,
and policy-wise, there really hasn't been a
lot of talk about
that.
policy. No. And I think there were a lot of people last night watching this debate saying, boy, these two could be the presidential candidates. And we're not lucky enough to have that, I'm afraid. And then there was another debate that I didn't know anything about. We knew it was coming, but all the hype was about the vice presidential debate. The congressional debate between Mannion and Brandon Williams was last night as well. And have we heard any rumblings about that? I'm going to go back and watch the tape version.
The first I heard about it, and I don't want to sound like I'm not informed, was when Andrew talked about it this morning.
Yeah.
On the radio. I was out walking, and I
had no idea.
Williams had a debate last night?
Yeah. I had no idea. I had said I would bet that this kid's dancing away.
He is.
I think he was dancing his way right over to here until he looked inside. Nope. No, he's still dancing.
Yeah.
There's
See,
a
he's
dancer.
putting on a show for all the law enforcement.
See, now, if that was in my neighborhood, I'd be like, all right, the kid's having a good
fine.
time.
I was going to say,
himself.
a little bit different.
Little different
than you're used to.
This guy has clothes on.
Yeah, he has his clothes on. Anyway, I had said that, boy, it would have been a really interesting debate if it was Mannion versus Brandon Williams' wife. That would have been an interesting
Well,
debate.
she's a tiger, and
She is.
she's a
Well,
fighter.
both wives are very active in the campaigns, but Brandon Williams' wife is actually in the commercials.
Yes.
Well, like during the campaign, all of our wives are very active. They spend a lot of time with us. It costs us a lot of dinners afterwards.
I'm sure it does. Yes, it's a lot of work. A lot of talk here today, Brian, about bail reform and all of the things that have been changed and really have become a real problem for police agencies. Are we peeling it back? Marianne Buttonjohn feels that some progress is being made, but not enough.
Well, some progress has been made. Of course, we feel, our stance on it.
Yep.
In our conference, it's not enough. What we asked for was complete repeal of it. That's not going to happen, of course.
Yeah.
But, we need to get the stakeholders. We could probably have a great conversation right here at
with all these police officers.
Police officers here, and really on how to fix this.
Yeah.
But it hasn't gone far enough. They put some Band-Aids on it. There really hasn't been a lot of talk on it right now, but that's been a topic during campaign for everybody. It's bail reform. It's theft in the stores is still a huge issue. We all see that. The governor in the budget put in what she felt was going to help the retail theft on, putting grants available for stores to get more surveillance equipment. Well, that's not the answer. We need to stop it. We need to put these people in jail for what's going on.
And I got to tell you, it's we're really lucky that this crazy thing that's happening in California, where they go in as a mob, as a group of like 10 people, and they all rob it at once. We're not. Society's not prepared for that. I don't know how we combat that. Can you imagine that happening here? 20 people go in and start taking stuff off the shelves at a Best Buy.
I just, we've all seen people walk out with whatever at Lowe's,
We have,
at Macy's, you name it.
Yeah.
But, we're short on law enforcement officers. We're short on COs. Yesterday the senator and the Assemblywoman and myself were over at Marcy and Mohawk Correctional with a tour talking to the union correction members. The commissioner is here. We got a lot of issues. We need to recruit. We need to make it safer. The HALT Act is in place. And the sheriff's got a campaign on now to for recruitment. I believe the test is coming up very shortly. So, my son wants to go into law enforcement. And
That's a great opportunity.
It's a great career. It's a great opportunity. It's a great time to do it.
It is a great time to do it. Well, listen, this is 30 some odd days till Election Day. You're in the middle of a race. How are the shoes doing? You tend to do a lot of walking.
I bought two new pairs of shoes. I got the one on right now that it's got a little bit of wear on the left heel. We're going door to door. There's a lot of events. We're all over the place. We just want to talk to as many people as we can, and we want to make sure that everybody gets out to vote this year. It's really huge.
Really is important. No matter what you're going to vote, who you're going to vote for, get out and vote and exercise that right. That means so much. So, all right, Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Keep up the good work out there. We'll break and come back. It's 8:30. Coming up, we'll speak with Mark Williams, Chief of Utica PD. Dave Byrne is Oneida Indian Nation Police. And Ryan Nobles from NBC will get his take on the debate last night. We'll get to all of that coming up here.
For the first time in years.
Okay, Davey.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is Kevin Fear, president of Mattress Express. You may have heard in the local media that one of our competitors has filed for bankruptcy. Please do not confuse that company with my company, Mattress Express. We are your local, solid, reliable hometown mattress store. I've been in business in this community for over 35 years. I am here today. I will be here tomorrow. If you have ordered a bed elsewhere and it has taken far too long to come in, bring your receipt to Mattress Express. We will meet or beat the price on the same or comparable bed and get it delivered quickly for you. If you see a bed advertised locally, we will do the same. And right now, on most King and Queen sets in our store, get a free adjustable base upgrade and take up to 5 years to pay on anything in the store with no money down for qualified buyers. See store for details. Shop with confidence at Mattress Express.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. As the leader in identity theft protection, LifeLock reminds you to update your passwords. Using the same password across multiple accounts makes you vulnerable to cyber criminals. Updating your passwords is only one way to help protect yourself. For comprehensive identity theft protection, you need LifeLock. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes issues that arise. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
There's no glory in getting beat up on the job. Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting work done. But Ferris commercial mowers at Clinton Tractor help you finish strong and feel good doing it. With patented suspension technology, visit Clinton Tractor today for a test drive and feel the Ferris difference. Or go to clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
And we're back. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. I want to tell you about New York Sash. Right now, you can reach out to New York Sash, and they have a sale on bathroom installs. So you could get a brand new bathroom in just a couple of days, and you can save 10% on installation right now at New York Sash. Their installers are never contractors, subcontractors.
It's all in-house.
I'm doing this off the top of my head because I can't.
All right.
Find the
I know
copy.
a lot about New York Sash.
They never use subcontractors. They're trained installers who, in many cases, are craftsmen at the work that they do. Go to their website, newyorksash.com. 624-7344, I think is the phone number.
I think that's pretty good.
315-624-7344. Go to newyorksash.com. We had the bathrooms put in 2 different times. We've used them for a new bath. In 2 days, you have a brand new bathroom, and it's done.
Want to talk about value to your home
versus a month-long project or longer.
Yeah.
To do a bathroom over. Go to newyorksash.com for details. In our Daylight Donuts studio right now is Dave Byrne. Chief Dave Byrne is with the United Indian Nation Police. And Chief, good morning. Thank you so much for coming in here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about this is an award-winning police department.
Yes, it is. One of the big things about the department is that we are CLIA accredited agency, which is the gold standard for public safety agencies. We've had 25 consecutive years of being CLIA accredited. We're one of 8 police departments in New York State that have achieved the CLIA accreditation, and we are the one and only tribal police department to have obtained the CLIA accreditation.
And you talk about some of the unique challenges of your department. It's obviously the nation itself, but you have your biggest primary responsibility is the resort, and so it's almost a city within itself that you have to handle.
Are you just at the Turning Stone, or do you handle Oneida Land as well?
We handle all the Oneida lands. We control about 325 square miles, roughly 18,000 acres.
Wow.
That my organization's responsible for. They wear many hats because of dealing with the casinos and the tribal folks. They're either going to take somebody to tribal, if they're a tribal member, they might go to tribal court. Another hat we wear is that we've been deputized in Oneida and Madison counties. And if we're dealing with a citizen at the Turning Stone, we'd have to go to a local criminal court with those folks. And we also have a special law enforcement commission with the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, federal government. So if we're dealing with something more major, we can contact the federal government, and the case could go federally for us.
So this is it can be handled much differently. And the fact that you're deputized, that's a big deal. The other thing that's really big about the United Nations Police Department is the partnerships that you have throughout the region.
Yes, very, very much so. As you know, the United Nations people have always been big on partnerships and taking care of your community. They were the first allies of the Americas, standing alongside American colonists for their fight for freedom during the Revolutionary War. They took it from that point, and as they established the Oneida Indian Nation Police Department, they encouraged and emphasized the cooperation with the local law enforcement agencies. Through that cooperation of the local law enforcement agencies, we made partnerships with all the local law enforcement agencies and coordinated with Oneida County and Madison County, and we ended up with an agreement. The Oneida Indian Nation, the state of New York, Madison County, and Oneida County police departments ended up deputizing us so that we could help perform law enforcement duties within the communities we serve, and we could work hand in hand with Oneida County and have a good partnership so that we have more law enforcement to aid one another and make sure we're taking care of each other.
It's very interesting and
very helpful, I'm assuming.
And very helpful, and I'm assuming you're very, very busy as well. Obviously, there's a lot of traffic going in and out of the of that resort, let alone everything else that you have to cover. So.
Yes, we serve 12,000 people a month easily at the casinos. We've got approximately 1,000 members that we take care of through the tribal agencies, and all the good partnership we have, which is encouraged by the nation leadership, where we got our partnerships with Oneida and Madison County. Should they have something going down, we make sure that back up each other and make sure that everybody's safe and take care of our families, our friends, and our community the best we can.
An amazing amount of construction going on out there right now with improvements and everything. It's going to be incredible when they're done with that construction. Just by the way, making it bigger for you guys to have to handle. So
a little bit more added to our plate, but very, very welcome addition.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the biggest conference centers in New York State. They're going to make a conference center. They'll have another hotel. They're going to have a hotel put up at Point Place Casino and expand on the gaming floor out there. It's going to be a wonderful place for people to come enjoy and visit.
Chief Dave Byrne, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, sir. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you for what you do out there at the Turning Stone. You want to grab Chief Williams right now and bring him right in, and then we'll break and talk to Ryan Nobles. We are at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. I want to tell you, too, about the lunch buffet, which goes on from 11 till 3 at Tony's in Washington Mills. Tony's Pizzeria. I don't know. There are dozens of items on the menu every single day, Monday through Friday. Everything from steaks and pastas and salads. If you'd like, it could be delivered right to your workplace. Give them a call at Tony's in Washington Mills, or you can just come in. You can eat in, or you can package it up and take it home with you. It could be dinner for tonight. Everything from the Italian specialties you know and love from Tony's in Washington Mills to steaks and all sorts of great dishes. It's a different menu every single day, and it's available at Tony's in Washington Mills every day from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. Sitting in right now with us is Chief Mark Williams of the Utica Police Department. Chief, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Excellent.
So it's been a busy It's been a tough year or so for Utica Police, and with all the changes from bail reform to raise the age.
Homelessness.
And the homelessness.
The youth violence.
We're talking with the Rome police chief on that as well. The world has changed for you.
It's changed quite a bit since when I grew up. Lived in Utica. Kind of interesting this past week. I know the governor came out with some statistics regarding gun violence.
Yeah.
And she highlighted 5 cities that has a substantial reduction in gun violence. We are listed as one. The stats are accurate. We were down roughly 47% in shootings from the previous year.
Wow.
However, the timing for that release couldn't have been worse because the weekend before that, we had 2 homicides.
Yeah, one with a knife and one with a gun.
Yes.
It is, and I think the other part of this is what's given so much focus is the kids. This is just unprecedented. But and it's not just here. It's all over. The kids shooting up each other. I don't understand it.
So a lot of these kids that we find that are involved in violent crime, they come from some of the most dysfunctional families you can imagine.
Yeah.
If they have one parent, they're lucky. And a lot of times, even that one parent gets exhausted or finds a new man in their life and then passes that child on to an exhausted grandmother to raise.
Yeah.
And they're in no position to type of raise these kids. So their needs are not being met. The only form of family they find is usually a gang.
Right.
And that's so they gravitate
and that becomes
towards.
family.
Exactly.
It also becomes very much like the days of when mafia was starting. There was power, and there was a coolness, I guess you could say.
Importance and belonging. It's unfortunate
Yeah.
that that's kind of the scenario.
And even though you're putting yourself in danger, you feel like you have a protection. You feel empowered. I'm just imagining that this is some of the things that kids are thinking.
So what we're seeing more and more is our shooting victims and our shooting suspects are getting, we're seeing more of them under the age of 18 now. It's disturbing because the other issue that goes with that, back in 2019, the state passed legislation for raise the age.
Yeah.
Which means we can no longer charge anybody criminally of the ages of 16 and 17 years old. So they get dealt with in family court, and it's a lot different as far as the repercussions. So they know there's not, much repercussions on the face, and that's why they defend.
The older violators will take advantage of that in a way, having younger people either take the fall,
knowing that the kid can't
get
be
the
arrested,
weapon, do the dirty work.
And just like you said, a lot of times they either the ones holding either the drugs or the guns.
Yeah. And obviously the horrible shooting that occurred. Talk, if you just can, for a moment, and we'll close with this. Your commitment to getting to the bottom of what happened. No one wants to see a 13-year-old shot and killed. No police officer ever wants to go through that, I can't imagine. If you could talk about what's going on with that case and the fact that you're committed to getting to the bottom of it.
So, with any type of officer violence shooting, there's always a criminal investigation to make sure that the officer didn't do anything that was wrong. In this case, the responsibility falls on the New York State Attorney General's office. We are working and cooperating with their office, but and everything that we've seen and all the evidence we collected, our officers didn't do anything wrong. Unfortunately, yes, there's a 13-year-old that's dead at the end of the day, and it's very tragic. But sometimes the public has to realize that it's their own dangerous actions that led to his demise. And it's tragic. It's unfortunate. We wish that it didn't occur, but the reality was that the officers also have the responsibility to defend themselves and make sure they go home at the end of their shift as well.
You have to wonder what in the world was a kid doing out with a gun at that time of the night, and when given the instruction to stop, he ran, and at one point turned the gun on the police officers. This is just it, and while people will say it wasn't a real, it looked like a real gun. That's the other part. How would one know that it wasn't an actual gun? It was a gun, but not a. It was more of a BB gun.
So we actually purchased the same exact pellet gun that he had.
Yeah.
It's an exact replica of a Glock handgun. You would not know the difference, especially at night, between that and the actual Glock. It weighs the same, looks the same. It's not modified any different than an actual Glock handgun.
And by the way, I was always told, and correct me if I'm wrong, even a pellet gun could cause death.
And cause serious physical injury.
Yep. A tragedy. I can't imagine what it's like for you and your officers to go through it, and the family to have to go through this. Just a terrible tragedy.
So what the public doesn't realize, anytime an officer's involved in one of these instances, it's unfortunate. I mean, there's some mental health issues that the officers go through, and we worry from an officer wellness standpoint that they get help and treatment. I've seen during my career one officer actually commit suicide because unfortunately he had to take the life of someone in the line of duty. And there's been several others that can never come back to work because they're affected by this for the rest of their life.
Chief Williams, we appreciate it. Thank you. You've been here your whole life, so you've seen the changes that we're all going through here. And
we have to say, too,
it's disturbing.
I know a little addendum, and it's kind of unrelated, but the new technology, Lieutenant Curley, I know, is very excited about it. Your whole department must love the new shot spotter technology that really is allowing unreported shots fired incidents to be reported, and that will only make your job a little bit easier and the ability to take these guns off the street all the more likely.
Certainly. I mean, we're able to respond quicker now as a result of ShotSpotter, and we're in the process of actually making 2 arrests on shots fired calls that we would not normally been aware of.
Okay, so it's working.
Yep.
All right, Chief. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Chief Mark Williams with the UPD. Can I keep rolling, Davey? What do you need me to do? Because I want to go to Ryan.
Need to keep track of spots.
And Davey, just give me I do need to break. All right, we'll do a quick break. Then Ryan Nobles is next. I can't wait to talk to him about the debate last night. We had 2 debates here, by the way, a congressional debate that we had no idea was even going on.
Surprise!
All the attention was paid there to the vice presidential debate. Ryan Nobles coming up next to WIBX.
Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give. And Eurydice was a young girl, but she'd seen how the world was. She fell in spite of herself in love with Orpheus.
Broadway Utica proudly presents Hadestown, October 8th and 9th at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, go to BroadwayUtica.org.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
This is Keeler in the morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Okay. And we're back at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Ryan Nobles is with NBC. And Ryan, good morning. We have so much to talk about: the debate, the Bills, and the Mets.
Yes.
Ryan, let's start with the debate. What are your thoughts on last night, Ryan? Good morning.
Honestly, my thoughts on last night are I'm surprised that it resonates enough that you still want to talk about it this morning.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of these things that quickly fades into the background. I think both men did a pretty decent job. I think I think it was a lot more civil than anyone expected it to be. And I think there'll be a couple moments that stand out. I know the Harris campaign has already cut an ad around the exchange on January 6th. And I know that the Republicans are really kind of going after the fumble that Tim Walz had. Trying to explain his trip or his anniversary around the Tiananmen Square, which he didn't seem prepared for at all. But I think the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's going to compel anybody to vote one way or another. They both did their job, and we're going to focus on the top of the ticket probably. Yeah.
I really felt, and you tell me your opinion on this, the one thing that could have come out of it, and you're right, the bar has been raised or lowered, I don't know, so low, so high, however you want to look at it, with the presidential debates, that I almost feel like this was a snoozer. However, I do think that 2 things came out of it. Politics today it's a lot about getting out in front of a topic or a person and repositioning that person. They have repositioned Walz as this laugher who's coming off kind of a bumbling idiot. They have repositioned Vance as a weirdo. And I think both candidates gave people a real look and a different look last night.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And I think that both of them seem pretty aware of the caricatures that had been painted of that. I thought Vance in particular, I mean, if you watch some of Vance's interviews, particularly before he became a candidate, I mean, he was almost a fire breather at times. He had no problem really attacking people, saying really mean things, sometimes awful things. And he was kind of a kinder, gentler J.D. Vance last night, which was not what I expected. And the other thing that struck me watching the debate was how often the two of them agreed with each other, which is something you really don't see in national politics anymore. And I think it was a good reminder that, politics isn't necessarily supposed to be about us fighting with each other. It's supposed to be about kind of coming to a common conclusion that there are problems that need to be addressed in this country, and we might have different ideas as to how to get there, but let's have a conversation about it and get to that common goal of fixing a problem. Like, that I think people agree that there's a problem at the border. It turns into a shouting match over how to solve that problem at the border, with people calling each other's names and accusing them of terrible things. Why don't we instead just have a conversation about how we can fix it? You did see glimpses of that last night. I wouldn't say that it was any sort of a breakthrough, but it was a reminder that there are solutions that both sides can agree on if people are willing to have those conversations.
And we saw civility, which is something we're now used to. The other interesting thing is the Republicans have the strategy has been against Harris. Boy, they've really elevated the importance of the vice president's role, haven't they? The role where you cut ribbons and aren't included in all the meetings. All of that has changed. In fact, I think she's been running the country.
Yeah, what was one of Vance's attacks last night was, you keep claiming that Kamala Harris wants to fix all these problems. She's the vice president of the United States. Why doesn't she walk into the Oval Office and fix it? And it's like, I didn't know that the vice president had that ability. I mean, I do think that they have, somewhat of an argument to make that she's certainly in a greater position of power and access than you or I would be to solve some of these problems. But you can't on one hand say that, she's a feckless, ineffective leader who doesn't have any real power, and then at the same time argue that she should be fixing all these problems.
Correct. Right.
There's certainly a dichotomy there, and up until Biden wasn't the candidate anymore, they acted like she wasn't even part of the conversation. So
that is correct. Yes. Yeah. Well, and then if you're Harris, you can't have your vice presidential candidate coming out and saying, "Listen, she had nothing to do with any of this. She wasn't included in any." I mean, you want people to think she has all this experience. So it's a bit of a political conundrum for both sides, I think. And then, I'm done with all of this. The Buffalo Bills. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I am concerned. I think that I think there's a couple things at play here. I think the first thing is that, and I think maybe we were playing with house money in these first three games. This is the first time that we've seen these holes that have been created through injuries by the defense really, really start to shine through. You could get away with it, and they could scheme away the fact that their best linebacker and best cornerback were not in the game against weak teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars and what end up increasingly becoming likely that the Miami Dolphins are. You can't do that against Lamar Jackson and Travis Henry. And they were just exposed in the middle of the field there. They have kind of almost JV players playing in some of those positions. So my hope is, that they're saying Bernard and Jackson are going to be back soon. Maybe that makes a difference. But I think it was a real wake-up call to the defense that you can't, when you play these good teams, you're going to have to come with a bit more of an A game there. It's crazy because they were really heading in the right direction before that weird trick play. I really feel like they were going to score on that drive had they not done that weird trick play. And I think it might have been a different conversation, but, there's not much good to say about that game.
Not much at all, nope. And then, please do not jinx the Mets. Last week you said the Bills are the best team in football.
I'm not going to say that about the Mets.
Do not say that about the Mets. There'll be no jinxing here, although they do have the best record in baseball since June 1st. How about the Mets?
Boy, the last couple of games have been so much fun to watch. I love the resilience and the fight that they have to get back in a game. Hang on one second. I'm actually in Georgia right now. I'm covering the vice president's visit here. in a few minutes. I need to go to bed.
I
Sorry
did see
about that,
that on with Ryan a little later this morning on NBC.
Yes, and anyway, but the fight that they have, that they're never out of a game, is just fun to watch. I've enjoyed this ride. They still have. I mean, winning game. I saw the statistics. It's crazy. Something like if you win game one in these 2 out of 3 game series, I think the team that wins game one goes on to win like 70% of the time or something. So I feel good about it. But I didn't realize this. I don't know if you did, Bill. They won't play any games in New York in this first round. If it goes to 3 games, all 3 games are in Milwaukee. That is
I did not know that until I
advantage.
looked it up yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, that is such a tremendous advantage, and that's one of the reasons
it is.
that it's so important to win games in the regular season. But
it is, and by the
now.
Before I let you go, the Mets have not done well in Milwaukee at all. This is their their 4th win in Milwaukee. So, well, let's get it over with tonight and have an extra day's rest. That's what I say. Ryan,
would love that.
Great job. Thank you. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Bill. Take it easy. Bye.
All right, thank you so much. We're with the final minute here with Sheriff Maciol. You put on a busy program here today.
I want to say thank you to you guys for making this possible. It's awesome to interact with the community. Thank you to all our law enforcement partners that came here today, and most importantly, thank you to Chuck over here at Daylight Donuts for allowing us to invade his place for the morning. And just it was a great event, and we're really, really happy. And like I said, anything the community needs, we're here for you.
That's awesome. Thank you. And
he's always a great host, that Chuck.
Sheriff Maciol, we appreciate it. Andrew, you have some.
Yes. So if you want to win some money, possibly, all you got to do is type in the Keeler cash code, go to the WIBX 950 mobile app or WIBX950.com. Look at the trending bar, click Keeler's Cash, and type in for 9 a.m. 253. 253 is your 9 a.m. code word to win up to $30,000 in cash prizes. That code again, 253.
I didn't get to everybody's comments today. We got a bunch of them. We'll get them in tomorrow morning. We're back in the studio tomorrow. Do enjoy the aroma. I do enjoy the aroma inside. But the coffee and the toast and the avocado toast just smells so good. Listen, we got to go. News is next, followed by Brian Kilmeade here on your Wednesday morning on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
A showdown of the running mates. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
A nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment.
Tim Walz making the case against the former president.
Donald Trump was the guy who created the